All right, for Black History Month, we are highlighting the people, places, and monumental events that define African American history. In Nashville, a new museum is set to open this summer to preserve the legacy of African American music. The National Museum of African American Music will be the only institution dedicated to showcasing music genres created, influenced, and inspired by Black Americans. Since 2002, it has raised $60 million and collected 1,500 artifacts. Get ready to move beyond country, Nashville. Ready or not, here we come. Music City will soon be known for another kind of sound. This summer, joining the Grand Ole Opry and seemingly a honky-tonk on every street will be the National Museum of African American Music, honoring and celebrating the way Black music has shaped the nation. With artifacts from the likes of Sammy Davis Jr. to Whitney Houston, Nat King Cole to Lisa Left Eye Lopez, the museum will honor more than 50 genres of music created, influenced, and inspired by Black artists, including the blues, jazz,
a tisket, I lost my yellow basket,
and hip-hop.
Yes, the rhythm, the rebel.
When completed, the museum will be 56,000 square feet of uniquely American sound. Well, that's exciting. And only on CBS This Morning, we are pleased to welcome the museum's president and CEO, Henry Beecher III, and its senior curator, Dina Bennett. Welcome to you both.
Welcome. Thank you.
Congratulations. I know how much work this is.
Yeah.
A long mission. When you started, Henry, this was originally a museum of music, culture, and art, right?
That's right.
But you've refined the focus. Why?
We have. Well, Nashville is Music City.
Yeah.
And so as we went along, it became very clear that that's really what we were talking about was music. And so one of the things we decided to do was to put the museum in historical context so we can still get at the art and the culture, but we can just do it by focusing in on the music.
Dina, what do you hope people walk away from when they visit this museum in September?
I hope that people will realize the great diversity of music that African Americans have impacted, have created, have developed, have influenced. We start from the 1600s. We go all the way from spirituals to gospel to blues to R&B and hip hop. So there's a little bit of something for everyone.
So we should mention the 1600s. I mean, you cannot separate slavery from African-American music. In fact, there's this hallway, this river of rhythms in the center of the museum.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Okay, so when the visitor comes into the museum, they will watch a 15-minute introductory video that gives an overview of the music tradition, and then they'll enter into the Rivers of Rhythm corridor. And the Rivers of Rhythm corridor is a place where they can investigate different time periods.
It connects slavery to more modern forms of African-American music?
Sure. It shows the interconnectedness of history and the musical traditions.
But it was almost like a saving grace for those slaves when you think about the hymns and, you know, the energy that they brought with that.
Exactly. It was a balm. You know, they wanted to have some hope that they would be free. And so a lot of times that took an expressive form as the music. So, and when it started off, it was an oral tradition and it was without instruments. And then as time went on and transformation of different kinds of genres and experiences, instruments were added. And
one of the things I love about music is it's all connected in some way. You can find a thread that ties it all together. And when you're approaching something like this, you're telling a story in effect, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and so we've worked with ethnomusicologists and scholars around the nation who are skilled at one genre or another, and work with them to put it all together and, again, kind of tell a story from slave songs to hip-hop and everything in between. And we really take the position that American music began when the Africans were brought over in slavery. And that from that point is where innovation was required, and that's where it really all began. And so this uniquely American style of expression began at that point.
I'm curious to know, what did you all take away from this as you're learning, you know, over the past decade that you didn't know before?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we knew before, but you just often don't think about, and that is that music brings us all together. And so, you know, whether it is a gospel song or the blues or jazz or hip hop, you know, as we go through history, and no matter what your walk of life, no matter what your background, even no matter what particular artist or genre you love the most, we all share that. And so really, music is our soundtrack. It is the soundtrack of our lives. And that's really one of the things that has become more evident as we do our work.
And I think that what's really important about and unique about the museum is that we actually have all of these musical traditions under one roof. Yes. I've worked at museums where it's been focused on a genre or the museum has been focused on a specific musician, but this is a place where you can find all the music.
Full history.
Yeah.
I think some people might be a little
Definitely.
surprised it's in Nashville, which is usually associated with country music, although in the last 10, 20 years, it's home to all kinds of music. And of course, you know, a lot of African-American music came through Mississippi, a lot of the blues, of course, which is close by, and you've got Memphis down the road where Stax is, and so I mean you are at the center of things.
Absolutely. I mean, and so we like to say that this kind of brings the Music City brand in Nashville full circle. And one of the things we really designed the museum around the Great Migration in a lot of ways. And so again, kind of that American culture in many ways beginning in the Deep South and coming up through Tennessee, and then spreading out throughout the country. And so really that's the heart of the story that we're telling in the museum.
All right, Henry and Dina, thank you very much. But it's not goodbye. You're going to be sticking around. They're going to be right back with both of them and 3 signature artifacts from the museum showcasing the history of African-American music.